Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling UFOs.
Woo, fun.
Specifically, the most commonly reported shapes.
Right.
You sent us your research.
Yes.
And now we're going to break it all down.
That's right.
Get ready for a mind-bending journey.
I love it.
Okay, so let's start with the classics.
Okay.
The ones that immediately come to mind.
Right.
The icons of UFO lore.
Well, you can't talk about UFOs without mentioning the flying saucer, the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah.
Its circular form, it's practically synonymous with the idea of alien spacecraft.
Is the image, right?
Yeah.
Sleek, metallic, silently gliding.
Exactly.
Pure science fiction.
And interestingly,
Yeah.
the flying saucer's iconic status can be traced back to a specific event.
Okay.
Kenneth Arnold's sighting in 1947.
Near Mount Rainier.
Yes, near Mount Rainier.
The one that really kicked off the whole craze.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While Arnold described the objects as crescent-shaped, moving like saucers skipping across water,
Right.
the media latched onto the saucer part and ran with it.
The power of language.
Yes.
And just a few months later, Roswell cemented the flying saucer as the symbol of alien visitation.
Precisely.
It's amazing how a single word really shaped our perception.
It really is.
Okay, so we've got the flying saucer,
Yeah.
the quintessential image.
Yes.
But there's another classic shape that pops up a lot.
Okay.
The cigar-shaped UFO.
Uh-huh.
These are pretty different. We're talking long cylindrical objects.
Yeah.
Sometimes enormous in scale.
What's interesting is that reports of cigar-shaped UFOs predate the flying saucer craze.
Wait, really?
We're talking sightings from the late 19th century,
Wow.
during the Airship wave.
So even back then, people were seeing these things.
Yes, though the descriptions might have been influenced by the technology of the time,
Right.
instead of sleek metallic craft.
Yep.
They might have been perceived as airships,
Okay.
perhaps even with propellers or wings.
Interesting.
But the basic shape, that elongated cylindrical form, remained consistent.
So this wasn't just a product of the mid-20th century UFO craze.
No.
That's wild.
It's a shape that's been popping up for a long time.
Yeah.
And these cigar-shaped UFOs continue to be sighted even today.
Really?
A compelling example is the USS Nimitz encounters in 2004.
The Tic Tac incident.
Exact.
Multiple credible witnesses, radar data.
Precisely.
The whole 9 yards.
And the presence of both these smaller Tic Tac objects and the larger cigar-shaped craft
Right?
raises some intriguing questions.
Like what?
Could those smaller objects have been deployed from the larger one?
Okay.
Was it a mothership of some kind?
The idea of a mothership.
Yeah.
Carrying smaller UFOs.
It's straight out of science fiction.
Yeah.
But if these reports are accurate,
Right.
it adds a whole new layer of complexity.
It really does.
It suggests a level of organization, of technology, that we can barely even grasp.
It challenges us to think beyond individual craft. So we have these classic shapes, the saucer and the cigar.
Right.
But those aren't the only ones people are seeing.
No.
Some of the more modern UFO reports involve shapes that are even more intriguing, more perplexing.
Indeed.
One shape that has become increasingly prevalent in recent decades is the triangle UFO.
Yes.
It's stealthy, angular,
Yes.
and often described as massive.
Yeah.
The triangle is a real head-scratcher.
Huh?
It's like the anti-flying saucer.
Yeah.
It's all sharp angles and dark surfaces.
Right.
Often described as larger than a commercial airplane.
That's right.
And the reports are pretty chilling.
I know.
Imagine seeing this huge black triangle silently gliding over your house at night.
And the silence is consistently recorded, isn't it?
It is.
As if these craft defy the laws of physics, moving without any sound, without any visible means of propulsion.
It makes you wonder, what kind of technology could be at play here?
It's a question that drives a lot of the fascination with UFOs. The triangle, in particular, with its stealthy appearance and silent movement, forces us to confront the possibility of technologies far beyond our own.
And the triangle UFO has been at the center of some truly remarkable mass sightings.
That's right.
We're not talking about just a few isolated reports here.
No.
We're talking about thousands of people witnessing these things.
One of the most well-known cases is the Belgian wave.
Oh.
Which occurred in the late 1980s and early 1990s.
Thousands of people.
Thousands of people.
Including police officers.
And military personnel.
Reported seeing these huge triangular craft over Belgium.
Exactly.
The Belgian wave is fascinating because it involved radar confirmations.
That's right.
Alongside the visual sightings.
Yes.
It wasn't just people seeing lights in the sky.
Right.
There was physical evidence to back it up.
And the sheer number of credible witnesses, including those in positions of authority, makes it very difficult to dismiss as mass hysteria or misidentification.
And then you have the Phoenix Lights incident in 1997.
Yes.
Massive V-shaped formations of lights.
That's right.
Seen by thousands of people over Arizona.
It's amazing.
Some believe it was a single, massive craft.
Right.
While others think it was a fleet of smaller objects.
Could have.
Either way, it was a sight that left a lasting impression.
The Phoenix Lights are particularly intriguing because of the scale of the event.
Yeah.
Thousands of people across a wide geographical area reported seeing these lights.
And despite attempts to explain it away as flares or aircraft, there are many who believe it was something far more extraordinary.
There are.
It's like these triangle-shaped UFOs are deliberately putting on a show.
It makes you wonder why.
Appearing in these large-scale events where they can't be ignored.
It raises the question. If these are indeed advanced craft, why are they making themselves known in this way?
Right.
Are they trying to send a message? To study our reaction?
It's a mystery wrapped in an enigma, isn't it? And it makes you wonder, what other shapes, what other mysteries might be out there just waiting to be discovered?
That's the beauty of this subject. It's a journey into the unknown. And it's a journey that's full of wonder, excitement, and a healthy dose of the unexplainable.
Speaking of shapes, the chevron UFO is another one that gets reported pretty often. It's similar to the triangle, but with that distinct V shape. Sometimes described as being even bigger than the triangular ones.
You could say it's like a stretched out triangle with those elongated arms forming a pronounced V.
The scale of some of these things is mind-boggling.
It is.
And they're often seen with these rows of lights along the arms of the V. Like a string of pearls against the night sky.
Beautiful.
And of course, they're silent.
Just
gliding through the air without a sound.
The similarities to the triangle UFO are undeniable. The size, the shape, the silent movement. It makes you wonder if they might be related in some way. Perhaps different variations of the same technology or even different generations of the same type of craft.
Maybe they're two different models from the same manufacturer? Or two entirely different civilizations?
Possibly.
Both with a penchant for angular spacecraft?
It's possible.
Who knows?
The possibilities are tantalizing, aren't they?
One of the most famous cases involving these chevron-shaped UFOs is the Hudson Valley sightings in the 1980s.
Oh, yes.
Thousands of people in New York State witnessed these massive V-shaped craft for years.
It's incredible.
It was one of the most well-documented UFO flaps in history.
What makes the Hudson Valley sightings so compelling is the duration of the phenomenon. These weren't just isolated incidents. It was a sustained wave of sightings that lasted for years.
And the consistency of the descriptions. The sheer number of witnesses.
It makes it very difficult to dismiss as mere misidentification or imagination.
It wasn't just a one-off event. It was a pattern that continued for years.
That's right.
And it's not just the Hudson Valley.
Wow.
There are reports of chevron-shaped UFOs from all over the world.
From all over the world.
It's a global phenomenon.
Which suggests that whatever we're dealing with here, it's not localized. It's not limited to a particular region or culture. It's something that's happening on a much larger scale.
Okay, so we've got the saucers, the cigars, the triangles, the chevrons, all these larger craft that really capture the imagination.
They do.
But there's a whole other category of UFOs that are much smaller, much more elusive, and arguably even more mysterious.
Interesting.
I'm talking about the orbs.
Ah, the orbs. These are fascinating because they're so ubiquitous.
They are.
They're reported all over the world in all sorts of contexts.
Orbs are the wild card of the UFO world.
They are.
They're small, glowing balls of light. Often described as perfectly round and incredibly agile.
And their behavior is often described as truly extraordinary. Capable of movements that seem to defy our understanding of physics.
These things can zip around, make sudden stops, change direction on a dime.
That's right.
They're like little aerial acrobats.
And that agility is one of the things that makes them so difficult to explain. They don't move like conventional aircraft.
Right.
They seem to operate under a completely different set of rules.
It's almost like they're not bound by the same physical laws that govern our world.
Exactly.
And that's what makes them so intriguing.
Yeah.
They challenge our assumptions about what's possible, what's real.
That's right.
One of the things that's so interesting about these orbs is that they're often mistaken for something else at first.
Right.
People think they're just stars or balloons.
Yeah.
Until they start doing things that stars and balloons simply don't do.
Yes, that's a common theme in orb sightings. They'll appear as a bright light in the sky.
Right.
Hanging out with the stars. But then they'll suddenly dart off at incredible speed.
Oh, yeah.
Make a sharp turn, or even disappear entirely.
And that's when people start to think,
yes,
hold on, that's not a normal star.
Right.
It's those anomalous movements, those sudden changes in direction or speed.
That really set them apart.
One of the earliest reports of these orb-like objects comes from World War II.
Really?
Pilots would see these glowing orbs trailing their aircraft.
No.
And they called them Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters are a classic example of how these orb-shaped UFOs have been appearing for decades.
Yeah.
And even back then, the pilots couldn't explain what they were seeing.
Right.
They didn't behave like enemy aircraft, and they seemed to defy any known technology at the time.
It's like they were these mysterious little gremlins.
Yeah.
Messing around with the pilots.
That's right.
And the name Foo Fighters is just so quirky.
I know.
It captures that sense of the unknown, the unexplainable.
And the fact that these reports came from pilots, from trained observers, adds a layer of credibility to the phenomenon.
Right.
Yeah.
These weren't just random people seeing things in the sky.
Yeah.
These were experienced pilots who knew what they were looking at.
That's right.
Or at least they knew what they weren't looking at.
Exactly.
And the Foo Fighters weren't just a wartime phenomenon.
Okay.
Reports of these orbs have continued in the decades since, all over the world.
Like the Hessdalen lights in Norway.
Oh, yeah.
These glowing orbs have been seen hovering over the Hessdalen Valley for years.
Wow.
And scientists have actually been studying them.
Really?
Trying to figure out what they are.
Interesting.
The Hessdalen lights are a great example of how these orb phenomena can attract serious scientific attention.
That's really cool.
There are some theories about possible natural explanations.
Okay.
But the mystery hasn't been fully solved.
So it remains an open question.
It does.
And an ongoing source of fascination.
Absolutely.
It's amazing that you have this recurring phenomenon in a specific location that's been going on for years.
It is.
It definitely suggests that something unusual is happening there.
It challenges us to consider the possibility that there might be forces at work in the universe that we don't yet understand.
Oh, okay.
Forces that could manifest as these strange lights.
Right.
As these orbs that seem to dance and play in our skies.
And then you have the Marfa lights in Texas.
Yes.
These mysterious orbs that appear near the town of Marfa.
That's right.
They've become a local legend and a tourist attraction.
The Marfa lights are a great example of how these phenomena can become woven into the local culture, into the folklore of a place.
It's like these orbs have become part of the town's identity.
Yeah.
A source of mystery and wonder that draws people from all over.
Exactly.
And that speaks to the enduring power of these phenomena.
It does.
They captivate our imagination. They challenge our understanding of the world.
Yeah.
And they remind us that there are still mysteries out there.
That's right.
Still things that we can't fully explain.
That we can't fully explain.
Okay, so we've talked about saucers, cigars, triangles, chevrons, orbs. It's like a whole taxonomy of UFO shapes.
It is.
But there are even more out there.
Right.
Some of them less common, but equally intriguing.
Indeed.
The universe of UFO shapes is vast and varied.
It is.
With reports of everything from diamonds to cylinders to shapes that defy description. Diamonds.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Now that's one I haven't heard much about.
The diamond-shaped UFO is a fascinating one, although not as widely reported as some of the others.
So tell me about it.
It's often described as a two-sided pyramid with a pointed top and bottom forming this perfectly symmetrical diamond shape.
It's like a giant flying gemstone.
It is.
And I bet the descriptions are pretty wild.
They are.
What have people reported seeing?
People have reported glowing diamonds, metallic diamonds, even diamonds that seem to radiate some kind of energy.
And the behavior.
And the behavior is equally intriguing. They're often described as being incredibly agile, capable of hovering, making sudden movements, and even disappearing entirely.
It's almost like they have a mind of their own.
It is.
They're not following the rules of aerodynamics as we understand them.
That's what makes them so challenging to explain.
Yeah.
We're dealing with something that seems to operate outside of our current understanding of physics and technology.
One of the most famous cases involving a diamond-shaped UFO is the Cash Landrum incident back in 1980.
Oh, yes.
This happened near Dayton, Texas.
That's right.
And it's a pretty incredible story.
The Cash Landrum case is a cornerstone of UFO lore because of the alleged physical effects on the witnesses.
Okay.
It wasn't just a visual sighting.
Right.
It was an encounter that left a lasting impact.
What happened?
The witnesses claim they saw a diamond-shaped craft emitting intense heat and light.
Oh, wow.
And they reported suffering physical injuries afterward.
Wait, they were actually injured?
Yes, they reported suffering burns and radiation-like symptoms.
That's intense.
It's one of the few cases where there are claims of physical harm associated with a UFO sighting.
And it raises all sorts of questions.
It is.
About the potential dangers of these encounters.
Exactly.
And it also adds fuel to the fire for those who believe these UFOs might be experimental government craft.
Right.
I mean, if it was some kind of top secret technology, wouldn't the government want to keep it under wraps?
That's a question that's been debated for decades, and there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
But the Cash Landrum incident certainly raises some important questions about the potential involvement of governments in UFO phenomena.
Okay.
And it highlights the fact that we're dealing with something that can have real-world consequences that can affect people's lives in profound ways.
It's a reminder that this isn't just about lights in the sky.
It's not.
This is about something that could potentially pose a threat.
Yes.
Or at the very least, a mystery that we need to understand better.
Absolutely.
And the diamond-shaped UFO continues to be reported, even today.
Yes, it does.
Adding to the complexity of the phenomena.
It does.
Okay, so we've talked about diamonds.
Right.
What other shapes are out there?
Well, there are reports of everything from boomerangs to spheres to objects that defy description.
Wow.
But perhaps one of the most mind-blowing shapes in terms of scale is the cylindrical mothership.
Hold on, mothership?
Yes.
We're talking about something even bigger than those massive triangles and chevrons.
We are.
Really?
The mothership is a concept that has captured the imagination of UFO enthusiasts for decades.
Okay.
The idea is that these are truly enormous craft.
Wow.
Potentially capable of interstellar travel.
Right.
Carrying smaller UFOs inside. Perhaps deploying them for specific missions or observations.
It's like something straight out of a science fiction movie.
It is.
But I'm assuming there are actual reports of these things.
There are.
What kind of descriptions are we talking about here?
We're talking about immense tube-shaped craft.
Okay.
Sometimes described as being hundreds or even thousands of feet long.
And how are they behaving?
They're often seen hovering at high altitudes.
Okay.
Or moving slowly across the sky.
And I guess the idea is that those smaller UFOs, the saucers, the triangles, the orbs, they might actually be coming from these motherships, right?
That's a popular theory.
Okay.
For example, in the Tic Tac incident.
Right.
Some believe those smaller Tic Tac-shaped objects might have come from a larger mothership lurking nearby.
That's a pretty wild thought.
It is.
A mothership hanging out in our airspace, sending out these smaller probes to check us out.
It is.
So there have been some pretty remarkable sightings of these cylindrical motherships over the years.
Yes, there have.
Tell me about one.
One of the most famous is the New Mexico incident from back in the 1950s.
Okay.
Witnesses reported seeing a massive cylindrical craft hovering over the desert with smaller saucer-like objects entering and exiting the main vessel.
It's like a cosmic aircraft carrier.
Exactly.
Launching and recovering its fighters.
It suggests that we might not just be dealing with individual UFOs, but with a potential hierarchy of craft.
Okay.
Perhaps with different functions and capabilities.
Which, if you think about it, makes a lot of sense.
It does.
I mean, if we were traveling to another star system, we wouldn't just send one ship, right?
Yeah.
We'd send a whole fleet with different ships for different purposes.
It's a logical extension of our own thinking about space exploration, but of course we're dealing with something that's far beyond our current capabilities.
And speaking of multiple ships, there are also the Yukon sightings from 1996.
Yes.
People in Canada reported seeing a huge tube-shaped UFO moving across the night sky.
Right.
They said it had rows of lights along its body, and some even claimed they saw smaller objects detaching from it.
The Yukon sightings are another compelling case because they involved multiple credible witnesses, including experienced pilots.
And the descriptions of the craft are very consistent.
They are.
Pointing to a truly massive and unusual object.
That's right.
It's like these motherships are just cruising around our planet.
Yeah.
Checking us out, maybe even deploying smaller probes to get a closer look.
It's a thought-provoking idea.
It really is.
And one that raises all sorts of questions about what their intentions might be.
Right.
What their technology might be capable of, and what their presence might mean for the future of humanity.
It's enough to make your head spin, isn't it?
It is.
All these shapes, all these sightings, all these mysteries.
Yeah.
It's like we're just scratching the surface of something truly profound.
We are.
Something that could change our understanding of the universe and our place in it.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
The exploration is just beginning.
It is.
It is. It's really fascinating,
Yeah.
that these shapes, even the seemingly outlandish ones, have been reported across cultures and time periods.
Right.
It suggests a universality to these experiences, which adds another layer of intrigue.
It really does.
To the whole phenomenon.
It's like there's something about these shapes
Yeah.
that resonates with us on a deeper level. Almost like they're tapping into some kind of collective unconscious.
Right.
Maybe we're wired to see these shapes.
Yeah.
To recognize them as something significant.
That's a thought that has been explored by researchers in various fields.
Okay.
The idea that there might be something archetypal about these shapes.
Right.
Something that speaks to our shared human experience. Perhaps they represent the unknown, the mysterious, the things that lie beyond our current understanding.
It's like they're pushing the boundaries of our imagination.
They are.
Forcing us to confront the possibility of something truly otherworldly.
And that's what makes the study of UFOs so compelling.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront the unknown.
Right.
To question our assumptions.
Yeah.
And to consider the possibility that there might be more to reality than we currently understand.
I think that's what draws a lot of people to this topic.
Yeah.
It's a sense of wonder.
Yes.
A desire to explore the mysteries of the universe.
Exactly.
And to grapple with the big questions about our place in the cosmos.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's a quest for knowledge, a search for meaning,
right,
and a challenge to our conventional ways of thinking.
Right.
But we have to be careful not to jump to conclusions.
Right.
Yeah.
We've talked about these incredible shapes, these sightings that defy explanation.
Yeah.
But what does it all mean?
Right.
What are we to make of these reports?
That's the question.
Are we dealing with extraterrestrial visitors, secret government projects?
Yeah.
Or something else entirely?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's no easy answer.
Right.
But that doesn't mean we can't explore the possibilities, weigh the evidence, and try to make sense of what we're seeing.
Right.
So
it's a puzzle with many pieces.
It is.
And we might not have all the pieces yet.
That's right.
But we can still try to fit together the ones we do have.
Exactly.
So let's take a step back for a moment and consider the different perspectives on what these UFO shapes might represent.
Right.
What are some of the explanations that have been put forward?
Well, one of the most common explanations is misidentification.
Okay.
People are seeing things in the sky, but they're not actually seeing what they think they're seeing.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's easy to mistake a plane for a UFO if you're seeing it from an unusual angle.
It is.
Or if the lighting is poor.
Right.
And things like weather balloons, satellites, even drones.
That's right.
Can create some pretty strange effects in the sky.
Precisely.
And then there are natural phenomena that can create optical illusions. Things like lenticular clouds.
Yes.
Meteors. Even ball lightning.
That's right.
These can be easily mistaken for something more exotic if you're not familiar with them. Oh yeah, lenticular clouds are a great example.
They are.
They're these lens-shaped clouds that can form over mountains.
Right.
And they can look incredibly strange.
They do.
Like giant hovering discs.
They look just like it.
I can definitely see how someone might mistake one for a UFO.
Absolutely.
And then there's the psychological factor. We're wired to see patterns.
We are.
To find meaning in randomness.
That's right.
So it's not surprising that people sometimes see things that aren't really there.
It's not.
Especially if they're already primed to believe in UFOs.
Exactly.
So you're saying that our own minds can sometimes play tricks on us.
They can.
Especially when we're dealing with something as mysterious and unknown as UFOs.
Absolutely.
There's a term for this.
There is.
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia.
Which refers to the tendency to perceive familiar shapes. In random or ambiguous patterns.
Yes.
Like seeing faces in clouds. Or animals in rock formations. Oh yeah, pareidolia.
Yes.
I've totally experienced that.
We all have.
It's like Our brains are trying to make sense of the world.
They are.
Even when there's no sense to be made.
Right.
And that can lead to misinterpretations, especially when it comes to something as ambiguous as UFOs.
That's right.
So, we have to acknowledge that not every UFO sighting is going to be a genuine, unexplained phenomenon.
That's correct.
Some of them can be explained away by more mundane factors.
They can?
Whether it's misidentification, natural phenomena,
yes,
or even our own psychological biases.
Absolutely.
And it's important to apply critical thinking.
It is.
To consider all the possibilities before jumping to conclusions.
That's right.
We have to be discerning to evaluate the evidence carefully.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's say we've eliminated all the misidentification, the natural phenomena, the psychological tricks.
Okay.
What about those sightings that can't be explained away? The ones that have been investigated by experts, and there's still no clear answer.
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because it suggests that there might be something else at play.
Right.
Something beyond our current understanding.
And that's where the theories about advanced technology,
yes,
both human and extraterrestrial, come into play.
Precisely.
We have to consider the possibility that some of these UFO shapes might represent technology that is far ahead of anything we've developed here on Earth.
We do.
And that could mean secret government projects,
It could.
black budget programs
Yes.
that are developing next-generation aircraft or spacecraft that are beyond anything we can imagine.
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
And there are many who believe that the government is hiding evidence of advanced technology.
Okay.
Perhaps even reverse-engineered technology from recovered UFO crashes.
Right.
Yeah.
The idea that the Roswell incident wasn't just a weather balloon,
Right.
but a genuine crashed UFO.
A genuine crash UFO.
That was recovered and studied by the military.
That's right.
It's a theory that continues to fuel a lot of speculation.
And it raises all sorts of questions about what those technologies might be capable of.
Yeah.
And why they would be kept secret.
It's like a real-life conspiracy thriller.
It is.
The government hiding evidence of advanced technology?
Yeah.
Perhaps even contact with extraterrestrial civilizations.
Right.
It's enough to make you wonder what else they might be keeping from us.
Well, that's a whole other discussion.
Okay, so we have the possibility of secret government projects. What about the other big one, the one that everyone always jumps to when they hear about UFOs?
Of course, we have to consider the possibility that some of these UFOs are actually extraterrestrial craft, alien visitors from other star systems, perhaps exploring our planet, observing us, or even trying to contact us.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Are we alone in the universe? Or are we being visited by beings from other worlds?
And the different shapes we've been discussing,
Yeah.
they could represent different alien species,
Okay.
different technologies, different purposes.
Right. Maybe the saucers are for exploration.
Could be.
The triangles for surveillance.
Right.
The orbs for something else entirely.
Exactly.
And those massive motherships we talked about?
Yes.
They could be like interstellar arcs.
They could.
Carrying entire civilizations across the vastness of space.
It's a mind-boggling concept.
It is.
But one that's not entirely outside the realm of possibility.
Right.
If we consider the sheer size and age of the universe, the likelihood of other intelligent life out there seems pretty high.
Yeah.
And if they're technologically advanced enough to travel between stars,
Right.
their technology could appear like magic to us.
It's like we're ants looking up at a spaceship,
A very apt analogy.
trying to figure out what it is and what it's doing.
We're limited by our own perspective, by our own understanding of the universe, and we have to be open to the possibility that there might be things out there that are far beyond our comprehension.
Okay, so we've got misidentifications, secret government projects,
Yes.
and extraterrestrial visitors.
Right.
Are there any other explanations for these UFO shapes that people have put forward?
There are.
Okay.
Some researchers propose that certain UFOs could be manifestations of unknown natural forces.
Okay.
For example.
Yeah.
Imagine if ball lightning, instead of a sphere, could take on more complex shapes, even respond to stimuli.
So not little green man, but something like living storms.
Exactly.
Right.
Or what if certain geological formations under specific conditions produce electromagnetic effects that we perceive as these bizarre shapes and lights?
That's a really interesting idea.
It is.
It's like the Earth itself might be creating these phenomena.
It could be.
These lights and shapes that we can't explain. explain.
And it reminds us that we still have much to learn about our own planet,
Right.
about the forces that shape it,
Yeah.
and about the mysteries that lie hidden beneath its surface.
And then there are those shapes that really defy categorization.
Right.
Like the black blobs in the shapeshifters?
Yeah.
What are we to make of those?
Those are the ones that really push the boundaries of our understanding.
Yeah.
They seem to operate outside the realm of conventional physics.
Right.
Even beyond what we might imagine from advanced technology.
Well, it's like they're tapping into something deeper.
Uh-huh.
Something more fundamental about the nature of reality itself.
Some speculate that they could be interdimensional beings.
Okay.
Entities crossing from other realities into ours.
Okay, now my brain is officially melting.
It's good to stretch those mental muscles to consider possibilities that might seem outlandish at first.
But it is.
Because the truth about UFOs, whatever it may be, is likely to be stranger than anything we can imagine.
I think what you're saying is that when it comes to UFOs, we have to be open to all the possibilities.
We do.
Even the ones that sound a little crazy.
Absolutely.
If we limit ourselves to only the explanations that fit our current worldview, we risk missing out on some truly profound discoveries.
We do.
And who knows, maybe the answer isn't one thing.
Right.
But a combination of factors.
It could be.
Some UFOs might be extraterrestrial.
Right.
Some might be advanced human tech. Some might be natural phenomena we don't yet understand.
And some might be something else entirely.
Right.
Something that challenges our very notion of reality.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
But it's also incredibly exciting.
It is.
Because it means that there's still so much out there to discover.
Yeah.
So many mysteries to unravel.
And that brings us to a crucial point.
Okay.
The human element in all of this. The witnesses, the experiencers, the people who are actually seeing these things in the sky. Their stories, their experiences are the foundation of our understanding of the UFO phenomenon.
You're right.
Yeah.
We can talk about shapes and theories all day. But it all comes down to people seeing these things and reporting them.
And those experiences can be profound, life-changing events.
Yeah.
Seeing a UFO can shake someone's worldview to its core.
I bet.
It can leave them feeling confused, scared, even awestruck.
I can imagine.
It's like encountering the unknown face to face.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that human perception is not always reliable.
Right.
We're prone to biases, misinterpretations, to filling in the gaps with our own assumptions.
Okay.
So while we should listen to these witnesses and take their experiences seriously, we also have to approach their reports with a critical eye.
Right. We have to consider the credibility of the witness, the circumstances of the sighting, and any other factors that might have influenced their perception.
It's also important to be aware of the potential for hoaxes.
Right.
There are people who might be deliberately trying to mislead or deceive, whether it's for attention, money, or some other motive.
Sadly, there are always people trying to take advantage of others' beliefs or interests.
Yeah.
And with the rise of technology, it's easier than ever to create fake UFO videos or photos that look very convincing.
That's right.
So we have to be discerning, to apply critical thinking.
I do.
And to rely on credible sources when evaluating these reports.
Absolutely.
And that's where organizations like MUFON and U4C come in.
Yes.
They do a great job of investigating UFO sightings.
They do.
Interviewing witnesses and trying to separate the real from the fake.
Exactly.
They play a vital role in helping us understand the UFO phenomenon.
They are like the gatekeepers, sifting through the vast amount of information out there and trying to find the nuggets of truth.
So when we're talking about UFO shapes, we have to remember that it's not just about the objects themselves.
It's not.
It's about the people who are seeing them.
It is.
The human factor is a crucial element in this whole mystery.
It is.
And that brings us back to you, our listener.
That's right.
You're a part of this story, too.
Yes.
You're a sky watcher, a curious mind, someone who's interested in exploring the unknown.
Absolutely.
And we encourage you to keep looking up, keep asking questions.
Yes.
And keep sharing your own observations.
That's right.
Because every sighting, every report adds to our collective knowledge.
It does.
And helps us to piece together the puzzle of the UFO phenomena.
Exactly.
You might be the one who sees something truly extraordinary.
You could be.
Something that changes our understanding of the world.
So keep your eyes on the skies.
Yeah.
And let's see what mysteries we can uncover together.
I love that.
I do too.
So we've talked about shapes, sightings, explanations, theories, and even the human factor.
Yeah.
But there's one more aspect of this topic I want to touch on.
Right.
And it's something that's really important to me.
What's that?
And that's the sense of wonder.
Ah, yeah.
The wonder.
The wonder.
The awe.
Yes.
The sheer amazement that comes from contemplating the vastness of the universe and the possibility of other intelligent life out there.
Right.
It's that feeling you get when you look up at the stars on a clear night.
Yes.
And you realize just how small we are, how much we don't know,
right?
How much there is still to discover.
It's both humbling and exhilarating.
It is.
And it's something that I think is essential to the human experience.
Yeah.
And it's something that's often lost in the debates and arguments about UFOs.
Right.
Yeah.
We get so caught up in trying to prove or disprove, to explain or debunk,
yes,
that we forget to simply appreciate the mystery.
We do.
The wonder, the sheer possibility of it all.
That's right.
But that's what makes this topic so captivating, isn't it?
It is.
It's the unknown, the unexplained. Things that challenge our understanding of the world.
Absolutely.
And it's important to hold on to that sense of wonder.
It is.
Even as we seek answers and explanations.
That's right.
Because it's that sense of wonder that drives our curiosity.
Yes.
That fuels our imagination. And that inspires us to keep exploring the mysteries of the universe.
It's what makes us human.
Yeah.
It's that spark of curiosity, that desire to know that sets us apart from all the other creatures on this planet.
And it's something that I think is worth cherishing.
It is.
Worth nurturing.
Absolutely.
And worth sharing with others.
Absolutely.
So let's all go out there and look up at the skies with a sense of wonder.
Yes.
With open minds.
Right.
And with a willingness to embrace the unknown.
And who knows what we might find.
The possibilities are truly endless.
They are.
I love that.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into UFO shapes, I want to leave you with a few thoughts to ponder.
Okay.
We've talked about the different shapes, the sightings, the explanations, the theories, the human factor, and the sense of wonder.
Yeah.
But there's still so much we don't know.
There is.
And that's okay.
Right.
It's the unknown that keeps us going, that keeps us searching, that keeps us exploring.
Exactly.
So I encourage you to keep your eyes on the skies, to pay attention to the unusual, to ask questions, to share your observations with others.
Because every sighting, every report adds to our collective knowledge.
It does.
And helps us to get closer to understanding the truth about UFOs.
Exactly.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to make the next big discovery.
You could be.
So keep looking up, keep wondering, and keep exploring.
Because the universe is full of mysteries.
It is.
And it's up to us to unravel them.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this part of our deep dive into UFO shapes.
We'll be back soon with more fascinating topics to explore.
Until then, keep those minds curious and those eyes on the skies. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like, as we've been going through all this research on UFO shapes, it's striking how much variety there is.
There is.
It makes me wonder if we're really dealing with multiple phenomena under the UFO umbrella.
That's a key insight.
Yeah.
It's tempting to lump everything together, but when you consider the range from sleek saucers to massive cigars, from nimble orbs to those unsettling black blobs, it starts to look more like a diverse ecosystem than a single species.
That's like a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like we're looking at different branches on the evolutionary tree of, well, whatever UFOs actually are.
Exactly.
And each branch could represent a different origin.
Yeah.
A different technology. Even a different purpose.
A different purpose.
Okay, so let's play with that idea.
Okay.
If we accept that there might be multiple things going on under the UFO label, what are some of the possible categories we could be dealing with?
Well, the most popular category, of course, is extraterrestrial craft.
Right.
If even a fraction of the reports are accurate, we're talking about a civilization capable of interstellar travel.
Wow.
And that opens up a whole world of possibilities.
It does.
In terms of their technology and their reasons for being here.
Right.
Yeah.
Think about it. If we were traveling to another star system, we wouldn't send just one type of ship.
No, we wouldn't.
We'd have vessels for exploration, for research, maybe even for defense.
Exactly.
So why would an extraterrestrial civilization be any different?
Right.
A species capable of crossing the vast distances between stars would likely have a diverse fleet of vehicles.
Yes, they would.
Each designed for a specific purpose.
That's right.
And that makes those reports of motherships even more intriguing.
It does.
Maybe those aren't just large transport ships.
Yeah.
But entire mobile ecosystems
Right.
traveling the galaxy with smaller craft for specific tasks.
The concept of a generational ship is fascinating.
It is.
A massive vessel carrying a self-sustaining population.
Right.
Traveling for generations to reach a distant star system.
Wow.
If we apply that thinking to UFOs, those seemingly outlandish shapes start to make a bit more sense.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
A cigar shape might be the most efficient.
It might be.
Your long-distance travel through space.
Right.
While those nimble orbs we talked about could be probes sent out to gather information.
Or even autonomous repair drones.
Oh, wow.
Constantly maintaining the larger vessel.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
A civilization advanced enough for interstellar travel would need a whole suite of robotic systems for repairs, exploration, and who knows what else.
It's like we're playing a cosmic game of what could this be?
Yeah.
But with the highest stakes imaginable.
It reminds us that our imagination might be the biggest limitation. When it comes to understanding these phenomena, we're trying to apply our current understanding of physics and technology to something that could be far beyond anything we've ever conceived.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
Even if some UFOs are extraterrestrial, that doesn't mean they all are right.
Of course not.
We have to be cautious and consider all the possibilities.
We do.
Some of these shapes could represent technology developed right here on Earth.
They could.
Perhaps in those black budget programs you mentioned earlier.
Right.
The top secret stuff.
Yeah.
The kind of tech that's so advanced. It would look like magic to the average person.
Imagine if someone saw a stealth aircraft 50 years ago.
Right.
It would have seemed like a UFO. Something impossible for human hands to create.
What seems like science fiction today could be commonplace tomorrow.
It could.
I bet the folks seeing those triangular UFOs in the 80s would have been shocked to learn about drone swarms a few decades later.
I bet they would.
Who knows what kind of mind-blowing tech is being developed right now?
I know.
In secret labs around the world.
Precisely.
And those developments could explain at least some of the UFO sightings we've been discussing.
They could.
But, okay, let's get even weirder for a minute.
Okay.
What about those shapes that don't fit neatly into either category?
Right.
The black blobs, the shapeshifters?
Yeah.
Those feel almost supernatural.
I know.
Like they're bending the rules of reality.
That's where we enter the realm of speculation.
Okay.
But it's a fascinating realm nonetheless.
It is.
What if some of these phenomena are not technological in the way we understand it, but something else entirely?
Hit me with some out-there theories.
Okay.
I'm ready for anything at this point.
Well, some researchers propose that certain UFOs could be manifestations of unknown natural forces.
Okay.
Imagine a form of ball lightning that can take on complex shapes, even interact with its environment in ways that seem intelligent.
So not little green men.
Right.
But more like living storms.
Exactly.
Or maybe even some kind of energy-based life form that we haven't even considered.
It's possible.
That's cool.
Or what if certain geological formations, under very specific conditions, produce electromagnetic effects that we perceive as lights and shapes?
That's a wild thought.
It is.
It makes you wonder how much we still don't know about our own planet.
We don't know a lot.
And that's a good reminder.
Yeah.
We're so focused on looking out into the vastness of space that we sometimes forget the mysteries that lie right here beneath our feet.
That's true.
Okay, but what about the shape-shifting UFOs?
Oh, yeah.
Those are the ones that really blow my mind.
They are strange.
How could something change its shape like that?
Yeah.
Seemingly, it will.
That's where we truly enter the realm of the unknown.
Right.
Some speculate they could be interdimensional beings, entities crossing over from other realities into ours.
Ooh, that's getting into some serious sci-fi territory.
It is.
Like Stranger Things level weirdness.
Yeah, or perhaps our understanding of consciousness is so limited that there are forms of intelligence we haven't even conceived of. Capable of manipulating matter and energy in ways that appear like shape-shifting to us.
Okay, my brain is officially overloaded.
It's good to stretch those mental muscles to consider possibilities that might seem outlandish at first.
It is.
Because the truth about UFOs is likely to be stranger and more complex than anything we can currently imagine.
I think what you're saying is that the answer might not be one thing.
Right.
But a combination of factors.
It might be.
Some UFOs might be extraterrestrial.
Uh-huh.
Some might be advanced human tech.
That's right.
Some might be natural phenomena we don't yet understand.
Yes.
And some might be something else entirely.
Right. And that's what makes this whole topic so fascinating.
It is.
It's a journey into the unknown, a quest for understanding that requires us to challenge our assumptions and expand our awareness of what's possible.
I love that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into UFO shapes, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground shapes, sightings, explanations, theories, and even the human factor.
Right.
But at the heart of it all is a sense of wonder.
It is.
Yes, that sense of awe and curiosity that draws us to look up at the stars and wonder what's out there.
It's the recognition that there's so much we don't know about the universe. And that's okay.
That's okay.
In fact, it's that not knowing that keeps us searching, keeps us exploring, keeps us pushing the boundaries of our understanding.
Embrace the mystery.
Yep.
Cherish the unknown. And keep looking up with a sense of awe and curiosity.
Right.
Who knows what amazing things we might discover if we just stay open to the possibilities.
Yeah, so to all you listeners out there, keep those minds curious, those eyes on the skies, and remember,
the truth is out there somewhere.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.